First contact and cultural shock. The vast expanse of space had always held mysteries beyond human comprehension, but nobody on Earth could have predicted the events that unfolded on that fateful summer morning. It was July 15, 2045, when humanity's understanding of its place in the universe changed forever. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead astronomer at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, stifled a yawn as she pored over the latest data from deep space. The night had been long, filled with endless streams of signals and cosmic noise. Just as she was about to call it quits and head home for some much-needed rest, an anomaly caught her eye. "What the hell?" Elena muttered, her fatigue evaporating instantly. She leaned closer to her monitor, heart racing as she double-checked the readings. The signal was unlike anything she had ever seen before, structured, repeating, and undeniably artificial. With trembling fingers, Elena reached for her phone and dialed her supervisor. "Dr. Patel, you need to see this. Now." Within hours, the observatory was buzzing with activity. Scientists from various disciplines huddled around screens, arguing theories and possibilities. The signal's origin was pinpointed to a region just beyond Mars' orbit, and it was growing stronger by the minute. As word spread, governments around the world scrambled to respond. The United Nations convened an emergency session, and militaries worldwide went on high alert. Humanity held its collective breath, waiting to see what would emerge from the depths of space. They didn't have to wait long. 2 days after the initial signal detection, a massive object appeared in Earth's orbit. It defied conventional design, resembling a shimmering, translucent sphere that seemed to bend light around it. Attempts to communicate with the object went unanswered, leading to mounting tension and fear. Then, without warning, the sphere projected a holographic image visible to half the planet. The image showed a creature unlike anything seen on Earth, tall, slender, with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes. When it spoke, its words were somehow understood by everyone who heard them, regardless of language. "People of Earth," the alien began, its voice resonating with a strange harmony. "We are the Zirconian Collective. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and cultural exchange. Our observations have led us to believe that your species possesses unique attributes worthy of study. We request permission to send a research team to your planet." The world erupted in chaos. Social media exploded with theories, fears, and excitement. Religious leaders debated the implications of extraterrestrial life, while politicians argued over how to respond. In the end, it was decided that a cautious welcome would be extended to the Zirconians, under strict conditions and oversight. A month later, the first Zirconian research team arrived on Earth. The landing site, a remote area in the Australian outback, was surrounded by a mixture of scientific personnel, military forces, and media outlets from around the globe. As the sleek, otherworldly craft touched down, humanity collectively held its breath. The Zirconian delegation, led by Chief Researcher Excelfor, emerged from their ship with an air of curiosity and caution. Their movements were fluid and graceful, almost hypnotic to watch. Dr. Rodriguez, who had been selected as part of the Human Welcoming Committee due to her role in the initial discovery, stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome to Earth," Elena said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "We are honored by your presence and look forward to learning from each other." Excelfor's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer as they focused on Elena. "The honor is ours, Dr. Rodriguez. Your species has long fascinated us, and we are eager to begin our studies." As the formal introductions proceeded, it became clear that the Zirconians, despite their advanced technology, had many misconceptions about human society. They seemed particularly interested in human biology and social structures, asking questions that sometimes bordered on the inappropriate by Earth standards. "We understand that your species reproduces sexually," Excelfor stated matter-of-factly during the initial briefing, causing several human officials to shift uncomfortably. "This process intrigues us greatly, as it differs significantly from our own methods of propagation. Elena, trying to maintain a professional demeanor, cleared her throat. Yes, that's correct. However, it's generally considered a private matter in our culture. Zelfor's head tilted in a gesture that seemed to indicate confusion. Private? But it is essential for the continuation of your species. Surely it must be a central focus of your society. The human officials exchanged glances, realizing that bridging the cultural gap might be more challenging than they had anticipated. Dr. Patel, Elena's supervisor, stepped in to redirect the conversation. Perhaps we should focus on establishing the parameters of your research team's stay on Earth. We have prepared facilities for your use and have outlined areas where we believe collaboration would be most beneficial. As the meeting progressed, it became increasingly clear that the Zarkonians' understanding of human society was based on limited and often misinterpreted data. They expressed surprise at the complexity of human emotions, the diversity of cultures on Earth, and the intricacies of human relationships. Your species seems to engage in many activities that do not directly contribute to survival or reproduction, one of the Zarkonian researchers observed. What is the purpose of these hobbies and entertainment? Elena found herself becoming an impromptu cultural ambassador, explaining concepts that she had always taken for granted. Humans find fulfillment in many different ways, she explained. We create art, music, and literature to express ourselves and find meaning in our existence. We pursue knowledge for its own sake, not just for practical applications. The Zarkonians listened with rapt attention, their iridescent skin-shifting colors in what Elena guessed might be an expression of intense interest. It was clear that this cultural exchange would be a two-way street, with both species learning from each other. As the day wore on, arrangements were made for the Zarkonian research team to begin their studies. A secure compound had been prepared, equipped with everything the aliens might need for their stay on Earth. However, it was agreed that they would also be allowed to visit various locations around the planet, always under the guidance of human escorts. That evening, as Elena finally returned to her temporary quarters near the landing site, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The arrival of the Zarkonians represented an unprecedented opportunity for scientific advancement and cultural exchange, but it also presented challenges that humanity had never faced before. She thought back to the Zarkonians' curiosity about human reproduction and relationships. How would they react when they learned about the full complexity of human sexuality, love, and family structures? And how would humanity's understanding of itself change in light of this encounter with an alien civilization? As she drifted off to sleep, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that the coming days and weeks would bring discoveries and challenges beyond anything she could imagine. Little did she know just how prophetic those thoughts would prove to be. The next morning dawned bright and clear, marking the beginning of a new era in human history. As Elena made her way to the research facility where the Zarkonians would be based, she couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation mixed with nervousness. Upon arrival, she found the compound already bustling with activity. Human scientists and their Zarkonian counterparts were setting up equipment, exchanging information, and attempting to bridge the gap between their vastly different scientific methodologies. Zelfor approached Elena, his iridescent skin shimmering with what she was beginning to recognize as excitement. Dr. Rodriguez, we are eager to begin our observations of human society in earnest. Our preliminary data suggests that your reproductive processes play a central role in your culture, yet you seem reluctant to discuss them openly. We find this paradox fascinating. Elena took a deep breath, realizing that she would need to navigate this conversation carefully. Zelfor, human sexuality and reproduction are indeed important aspects of our society, but they're also deeply personal and often private matters. We'll need to approach this subject with sensitivity and respect for individual privacy. Zelfor's multifaceted eyes seemed to pulse with curiosity. Fascinating. Among the Zarkonian collective, all aspects of life are shared openly for the benefit of the group. The concept of privacy, especially regarding such a crucial function, is alien to us. As they continued their discussion, Elena realized that the Zirconians' research would likely challenge many of humanity's assumptions and social norms. The aliens' clinical approach to human reproduction and relationships would undoubtedly ruffle feathers and spark intense debates. Little did Elena know that this was just the beginning of a journey that would reshape humanity's understanding of itself and its place in the universe. As the Zirconians prepared to delve deeper into their study of human society, the stage was set for a collision of cultures that would have far-reaching consequences for both species. The alien research team arrives. The dawn broke over the Australian outback, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. But today, all eyes were focused on the gleaming Zirconian research facility that had sprouted like an otherworldly oasis amidst the red earth. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the entrance, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Today was the day the alien research team would begin their in-depth study of human reproduction. "All right, people," Elena addressed the assembled group of human scientists and government liaisons. "Remember, we're making history here. Let's try to keep our cool, no matter how unusual things might get." As if on cue, the facility's doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Chief Researcher Excelfor and his team. Their iridescent skin seemed to pulse with an inner light, a visual representation of their eagerness to begin. "Greetings, Dr. Rodriguez." Zelfor's melodious voice resonated in everyone's minds. "We have prepared a series of experiments that we believe will shed light on the fascinating intricacies of human mating rituals and reproductive processes." Elena nodded, trying to maintain a professional demeanor. "Of course, we've assembled a diverse group of volunteer couples who have agreed to participate in your studies. They represent various ages, ethnicities, and relationship types." Zelfor's multifaceted eyes shimmered with what Elena had come to recognize as excitement. "Excellent. We are particularly interested in observing the act of copulation in real time. Our preliminary data suggests that humans engage in this activity with surprising frequency, often without the intent of procreation. Is this correct?" A collective gasp went through the human contingent. Dr. Patel, Elena's supervisor, stepped forward, his face a mask of diplomatic calm. "Zelfor, while we appreciate your scientific curiosity, direct observation of sexual intercourse might be problematic. Perhaps we could start with less invasive studies." Zelfor's head tilted in that now familiar gesture of confusion. "But how can we fully understand the process without witnessing it? Among the Zirconian collective, all biological functions are observed and analyzed for the benefit of the group." As the humans exchanged uncomfortable glances, Elena had a sudden flash of inspiration. What if we used virtual reality? We could create simulations based on anonymized data that would allow you to observe without violating privacy. The suggestion seemed to intrigue the Zirconians. After a brief discussion among themselves, conducted through a series of rapid color changes across their skin, Zelfor agreed. "An interesting compromise. We will proceed with this virtual reality method." As the day progressed, the research facility became a hive of activity. Human technicians worked alongside Zirconian scientists to set up advanced VR systems that would allow for immersive, yet ethically sound, observations of human reproductive behaviors. During a break, Elena found herself in conversation with Zarka, one of the younger Zirconian researchers. The alien's curiosity about human relationships seemed boundless. "Dr. Rodriguez," Zarka began, her skin shimmering with a soft blue light, "we have noticed that humans often engage in physical contact that does not lead to reproduction. Handshakes, hugs, kisses. What is the purpose of these behaviors?" Helena smiled, realizing how strange these common gestures must seem to a species that reproduced asexually. "Those are expressions of affection, Zarka. Humans are social creatures, and physical touch helps us form and strengthen emotional bonds." Zarka's eyes pulsed with interest. "Emotional bonds, are these necessary for reproduction?" "Not necessarily," Elena explained, "but for many humans, emotional connection enhances the physical experience of sex and can lead to more stable family units for raising offspring. As Elena continued to explain the complexities of human relationships, she noticed a group of her colleagues huddled around a monitor, their faces a mix of shock and fascination. "Dr. Rodriguez," one of them called out, "you need to see this." Excusing herself, Elena hurried over to the group. On the screen was a live feed from one of the Zirconian ships still in orbit. It showed a breathtaking view of Earth, but with an alarming addition: strange, shimmering structures were appearing in the planet's atmosphere. "What are we looking at?" Elena asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial alarm. Dr. Petal, who had joined the group, shook his head in disbelief. According to the Zirconians, these are, well, they call them reproduction beacons. Apparently, their sensors can detect human reproductive activity on a global scale, and these structures visualize the data. Elena's jaw dropped. "You mean, those lights represent people having sex? Right now? All over the world?" Selfor, who had silently joined the group, chimed in. "Indeed, Dr. Rodriguez, we find it remarkable how frequently your species engages in reproductive activities. The energy output is quite impressive." As the implications of this revelation sank in, Elena realized that the Zirconians' research was about to take an unexpected turn. The aliens' ability to detect and visualize human sexual activity on a global scale would undoubtedly raise serious privacy concerns and potentially spark international incidents. XL4, Elena began cautiously. "This technology, it's incredibly invasive by human standards. We need to discuss the ethical implications immediately." The alien researcher's skin rippled with patterns that Elena interpreted as confusion and perhaps a hint of frustration. "But Dr. Rodriguez, this data is crucial for our understanding of human society. Surely the pursuit of knowledge outweighs these privacy concerns." As Elena prepared to respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Dr. Patel rushed to a nearby communication terminal, his face growing pale as he received an urgent message. "We've got a problem," he announced grimly. "Word of the reproduction beacons has leaked to the media. Social media is exploding with conspiracy theories, and we're getting reports of panic in major cities. Governments worldwide are demanding answers." Elena felt a weight settle in her stomach. The cultural misunderstanding between humans and Zirconians had just escalated from an awkward scientific study to a potential global crisis. As she looked from the worried faces of her human colleagues to the eerily calm Zirconians, she realized that the real challenge was only beginning. "All right," she said, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "We need to form a crisis management team immediately. Zelfor will need your full cooperation to address this situation." As the facility erupted into frantic activity, Elena couldn't help but wonder how they would navigate this unprecedented clash of cultures. The Zirconians' innocent scientific curiosity had inadvertently thrown human society into chaos, and it would take all of their diplomatic skills and ingenuity to find a way forward. Little did they know that this crisis was just the tip of the iceberg. As the story of the alien sex detectors spread like wildfire across the globe, humanity found itself forced to confront its attitudes towards sexuality, privacy, and its place in the cosmos in ways no one could have predicted. The stage was set for a rollercoaster ride of cultural misunderstandings, scientific breakthroughs, and personal discoveries that would change both species forever. And at the center of it all stood Dr. Elena Rodriguez, suddenly thrust into the role of mediator between two vastly different civilizations, each struggling to understand the other's perspective on one of the most fundamental aspects of life: reproduction. Unexpected discoveries and misunderstandings. The world was in an uproar. #alien sex detectors trended globally. Memes about Zirconian mood lighting flooded social media, and late-night talk show hosts had a field day with jokes about extraterrestrial voyeurism. But for Dr. Elena Rodriguez and her team, the situation was far from funny. "We need to get ahead of this," Elena insisted, addressing a hastily assembled crisis management team. The room was a mix of human officials, flustered scientists, and eerily calm Zarkonians. Pixel 4, can you deactivate the reproduction beacons? The alien researcher's skin rippled with patterns that Elena had begun to associate with confusion. Deactivate. But Dr. Rodriguez, the data we're collecting is invaluable. Did you know that human reproductive activities spike significantly during what you call weekends? Fascinating. Elena pinched the bridge of her nose, fighting off a stress headache. Zelfor, I understand the scientific value, but this is a massive invasion of privacy. People are freaking out. Freaking out. Zelfor tested the unfamiliar phrase. Ah, you mean they're experiencing elevated stress responses. But why? Among the Zarkonian collective, all biological functions are open for study. Is reproduction not a natural and essential process for humans? Before Elena could respond, Dr. Patel burst into the room, his usually composed demeanor shattered. We've got a bigger problem, he announced, his voice shaking. The Zarkonian sensors have detected something unusual. They're picking up reproductive signals from places where there shouldn't be any human activity. What do you mean? Elena asked, a sense of dread building in her stomach. Dr. Patel pulled up a holographic display showing a map of Earth dotted with the now infamous reproduction beacons. But among the expected clusters over populated areas, there were isolated signals in the most remote parts of the world, deep in the Amazon rainforest, the heart of the Sahara Desert, and even in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Holy shit, someone whispered, voicing the thought on everyone's mind. Zelfor's multifaceted eyes pulsed with excitement. This is unprecedented. Could there be undiscovered human populations in these regions? Or perhaps non-human species engaging in similar reproductive behaviors? The room erupted into chaos as the implications sank in. Government officials argued about national security, scientists debated the possibility of unknown hominid species, and the Zarkonians watched it all with detached fascination. Elena's mind raced. If these signals were real, it could rewrite human history and biology. But if they were some kind of glitch or misunderstanding, the consequences of investigating could be catastrophic. "All right, everyone, calm down," Elena shouted, her voice cutting through the din. "We need to approach this systematically. First, we verify the data. Then we send small, discreet teams to investigate the most accessible anomalies. No media, no announcements until we know what we're dealing with." As the room grudgingly agreed to her plan, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. The Zarkonians' innocent study of human reproduction had inadvertently opened a Pandora's box of scientific, ethical, and possibly evolutionary mysteries. Over the next few weeks, Elena found herself juggling multiple crises. On one front, she worked with global PR teams to mitigate the public panic over the alien sex detectors. On another, she coordinated with scientific teams investigating the anomalous signals. The first expedition, to a remote island in the Pacific, returned with mind-boggling footage. Hidden cameras had captured images of beings that looked almost, but not quite, human. They moved with inhuman grace and seemed to possess physical abilities far beyond normal human limits. "What are we looking at?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper as she watched the footage with Zelfor and a team of stunned human scientists. "If I had to guess," Dr. Patel said, his voice filled with awe, "I'd say we're looking at the result of convergent evolution, a branch of hominids that evolved in isolation, developing traits suited to their environment." Zelfor's skin shimmered with patterns of deep blue and gold, a sign of intense intellectual excitement. Elena had learned. "Remarkable. Your planet harbors even more diversity than we imagined. But why have these beings remained undetected until now?" As if in answer to his question, the footage showed one of the creatures seemingly vanishing into thin air, only to reappear moments later in a different location. Did that thing just teleport?" Someone gasped. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "We need to contain this information immediately." If word gets out before we understand what we're dealing with. But it was too late. Even as she spoke, alerts began popping up on everyone's devices. Somehow, the footage had leaked online. Within hours, the internet exploded with theories about Island X-Men and evolution's next step. Governments scrambled to deny knowledge or claim jurisdiction over the discovered populations. Religious leaders declared it a hoax or a sign of the end times. Amidst the chaos, Elena received an urgent message from one of the other expedition teams. With shaking hands, she played the audio file. "Dr. Rodriguez, you're not going to believe this. We followed the signal into the Amazon, and my God, Elena, we found them. But they're not like the others. They're glowing. And they can fly. I think we just discovered real-life angels." As Elena tried to process this earth-shattering information, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Dr. Patel rushed in, his face ashen. "The Zarkonian ships are picking up massive energy spikes all over the planet," he reported breathlessly. It's like these beings are waking up, and they're not happy about being discovered." Elena looked from Dr. Patel to Selthor, then back to the screens showing the growing global panic. What had started as a simple study of human reproduction had somehow morphed into a discovery that threatened to upend everything humanity thought it knew about its own planet and its place in the universe. As reports flooded in of glowing beings appearing in major cities, of island dwellers walking through walls to escape military containment, and of governments worldwide declaring states of emergency, Elena realized that the real adventure and the real challenge was only just beginning. "Selthor," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her mind. "I think it's time we had a serious talk about the true nature of life on Earth. And then we need to figure out how to make first contact with our own planet's hidden inhabitants." The Zarkonian skin rippled with a pattern Elena had never seen before, a swirling mix of colors that seemed to indicate a profound sense of wonder and perhaps a touch of fear. "Dr. Rodriguez," Selthor replied, his mental voice resonating with a new note of respect, "I believe we may have stumbled upon something far greater than either of our species could have imagined. The universe, it seems, is far stranger and more wondrous than we knew." As they stood there, watching the world as they knew it transform before their eyes, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. Whatever came next, one thing was certain: life on Earth would never be the same again. Crisis and collaboration. The world was in chaos. #HiddenHumans and #EvolutionaryLeap dominated social media. Governments scrambled to respond to sightings of teleporting island dwellers and flying, luminescent beings emerging from the Amazon. Amid this global pandemonium, Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the epicenter of a storm that threatened to reshape human civilization. "We need to establish communication with these evolved humans," Elena insisted, addressing an emergency summit of world leaders, top scientists, and Zarkonian representatives. The meeting, held in a secure underground bunker, crackled with tension. Selthor, the Zarkonian chief researcher, chimed in. "Our preliminary analysis suggests these beings possess abilities that defy our current understanding of physics. Teleportation, flight, energy manipulation, they are, quite literally, superhuman." A murmur rippled through the assembled crowd. General Zhang of the Chinese military leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. "Are we looking at a potential threat? Should we consider these beings hostile?" Elena shook her head vehemently. "We can't jump to conclusions. These are still human beings, albeit evolved ones. We need to approach this with diplomacy, not aggression." As if on cue, the bunker's alarms blared to life. Dr. Patel burst into the room, his face pale with shock. "They're here," he gasped. "Representatives from the hidden populations. They just appeared inside our security perimeter." The room erupted into chaos. Security personnel rushed to protect the world leaders, while scientists clamored for a chance to observe the new arrivals. Elena, however, felt a strange sense of calm wash over her. "Let them in," she said, her voice cutting through the din. "This is our chance for peaceful first contact." As the bunker doors slid open, a hush fell over the room. 3 figures entered, each radiating an aura of power and otherworldliness that made even the Zarkonians seem mundane by comparison. The first, a tall, copper-skinned woman with eyes that shifted color like opals, stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice seemed to resonate on multiple frequencies simultaneously. "I am Zara, representative of the Quantum Fold," she announced. "We are what you might call the next step in human evolution. We've lived among you, hidden, for millennia. But now, thanks to your alien friends' curiosity about human reproduction, our existence has been revealed." Elena's scientific mind raced with questions, but she forced herself to focus on diplomacy. "Welcome, Zara. We have so many questions, but first, please tell us, why have you chosen to reveal yourselves now?" Zara's iridescent eyes locked onto Elena's. "Because the time has come for humanity to face its true potential. Your species stands at a crossroads, Dr. Rodriguez. The choices you make in the coming days will determine not just the fate of Earth, but of the entire galaxy." As Zara spoke, the second figure, a man whose skin seemed to ripple with barely contained energy, stepped forward. "I am Coda of the Quantum Fold's warrior coast. We've observed your wars, your conflicts. We remained hidden to avoid being used as weapons. But now, with the arrival of the Zarkonians, we face a greater threat." General Zhang bristled. "Threat? The Zarkonians have shown no hostile intent." The third figure, a being of indeterminate gender whose form seemed to constantly shift and blur, spoke in a voice that echoed like wind through crystal. "The threat is not from the Zarkonians themselves, but from the knowledge they bring. Your world is not ready for the truths they carry." Zelvor's skin pulsed with patterns of confusion and alarm. "We came seeking knowledge to understand human reproduction. How could this be a threat?" Zara turned her mesmerizing gaze to the alien researcher. "Your study of human reproduction has inadvertently tapped into the fundamental forces of creation itself. The energy you detected, which you assumed was merely sexual activity, is actually the pulse of evolutionary potential. Every act of human reproduction carries a chance of activating dormant genes, of pushing the species forward." Elena's mind reeled with the implications. "Are you saying, every time humans have sex, we're playing evolutionary roulette?" "Precisely," Zara confirmed. "And now that this knowledge is out in the open, it's only a matter of time before people try to harness it. Imagine governments breeding super soldiers, corporations creating designer babies with extraordinary abilities. The potential for abuse is catastrophic." The room fell into a stunned silence as the weight of this revelation sank in. Elena, however, felt a spark of hope ignite within her. "But it doesn't have to be catastrophic," she said, her voice growing stronger with conviction. "This could be an opportunity for guided evolution, for solving some of humanity's greatest challenges. If we work together, baseline humans, evolved humans, and Zarkonians, we could usher in a new era of progress and understanding." Coda, the warrior, scoffed. "And who would guide this evolution? Who would have the wisdom to wield such power responsibly?" "All of us," Elena replied without hesitation. "We form a council, representatives from all human populations, the Zarkonians, and independent scientists. We establish ethical guidelines, we share knowledge, and we move forward together." As Elena spoke, she noticed something extraordinary. The air around them began to shimmer with a soft, pulsing light. Zara's eyes widened in surprise. "The quantum field," she whispered. "It's responding to your words, Dr. Rodriguez. Your vision, it's creating ripples of possibility." Zelfor's skin erupted in a dazzling display of colors. "Fascinating. We're witnessing the real-time manipulation of quantum probabilities. Dr. Rodriguez, your proposal is literally reshaping the future as we speak." The world leaders and scientists in the room watched in awe as the shimmering energy coalesced into a series of holographic images, glimpses of potential futures where humanity had embraced its evolutionary potential, where Earth had become a beacon of progress in the galaxy. Zara stepped forward, her expression a mix of hope and caution. "It seems the universe itself approves of your plan, Dr. Rodriguez. But the path forward will not be easy. Are you prepared to lead humanity into this new era?" Elena looked around the room, at the faces of humans, evolved beings, and aliens alike. She saw fear, hope, curiosity, and determination reflected back at her. In that moment, she knew that her life's work, her study of human reproduction, had been preparing her for this monumental task. "I am," she said, her voice ringing with certainty. "But I won't do it alone. We'll face this challenge together, as a united Earth." As the room erupted into a mix of applause, urgent discussions, and frantic planning, Elena felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. The study of human reproduction had led them to the threshold of a new era for humanity. Now, it was up to them to take the next step, not just in evolution, but in cosmic understanding. Little did they know that this was just the beginning. As news of the alliance between baseline humans, evolved humans, and Zarkonians spread, other alien civilizations turned their attention to Earth. The planet was about to become the focal point of a galactic drama, with the future of multiple species hanging in the balance. And at the center of it all stood Dr. Elena Rodriguez, scientist, diplomat, and now the unexpected guardian of humanity's evolutionary destiny. A new understanding. The world held its breath as Dr. Elena Rodriguez stepped onto the global stage, flanked by representatives of baseline humanity, the newly revealed Quantum Fold, and the Zarkonian delegation. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with an energy unlike anything in human history. #Cosmic Revolution and #Evolutionary Leap dominated every social media platform across the planet. Elena took a deep breath, her voice steady as she addressed not just the assembled world leaders, but the billions watching via holographic broadcasts worldwide. "People of Earth and honored guests from beyond our world," she began, "today, we stand at the dawn of a new era. An era where the boundaries of human potential are not just pushed, but shattered entirely." As she spoke, the air around her began to shimmer with quantum energy, a visual representation of the momentous changes unfolding. Gasps of awe rippled through the audience. Our study of human reproduction, initiated by our Zarkonian friends, has unlocked secrets hidden within our very DNA. Every act of love, every moment of passion, carries within it the spark of evolutionary potential. We are, quite literally, making love and remaking ourselves with every generation. The chamber erupted in a mix of excited murmurs and nervous whispers. Elena pressed on, her words carrying the weight of scientific authority and visionary hope. "But with this knowledge comes great responsibility. We cannot allow fear or greed to dictate our path forward. That's why today, I'm announcing the formation of the Cosmic Evolutionary Council, a body composed of baseline humans, quantum fold representatives, Zarkonian researchers, and independent scientists from every nation on Earth." As she outlined the Council's mission, to guide humanity's evolutionary journey ethically and responsibly, something extraordinary began to happen. The quantum energy surrounding Elena started to spread, enveloping the entire assembly hall in a soft, pulsating glow. Zara, the quantum fold representative, stepped forward, her opalescent eyes wide with wonder. "The field is responding to the collective consciousness in this room," she explained, her voice resonating on multiple frequencies. "Your combined hope, fear, and determination are literally reshaping probability on a quantum level." Selfor, the Zarkonian chief researcher, added his insights, his skin flickering with patterns of excitement. "We're witnessing the birth of a new form of evolution, one guided not just by natural selection, but by conscious choice and collective will." As if to underscore their words, holographic images began to materialize around the assembly hall, showing glimpses of possible futures, cities powered by clean, unlimited energy. humans with extraordinary abilities working alongside baseline individuals and alien species, Earth becoming a beacon of progress and unity in the galaxy. Elena's voice rose with passion as she continued, "But this is just the beginning. Our newfound understanding of human reproduction and evolution has caught the attention of other galactic civilizations. Earth is about to become a focal point in a cosmic drama, with the potential to reshape the very fabric of interstellar society." On cue, a holographic projection appeared above the assembly, showing a vast array of alien ships approaching Earth's solar system. But instead of panic, a sense of excitement and anticipation filled the room. "These visitors," Elena explained, "are not coming as conquerors or mere observers. They're coming to learn, to share, and to be part of this unprecedented evolutionary leap. Humanity, in all its diverse forms, is about to take its place on the galactic stage." As Elena's speech reached its crescendo, something truly miraculous occurred. The quantum field surrounding the assembly began to pulse in sync with the heartbeats of everyone present, human, quantum fold, and Zarkonian alike. "Can you feel it?" Elena asked, her voice filled with awe. "This is the pulse of our shared future, the rhythm of a universe awakening to its own potential through us." In that moment, a wave of unity and purpose washed over the assembly. Ancient rivalries and petty differences faded away in the face of this cosmic revelation. Humanity, in all its forms, stood ready to embrace its evolutionary destiny. As the speech concluded, the internet exploded with reactions. #CosmicUnity and #EvolutionaryAwakening became the most trending topics in human history. Memes combining scientific concepts with pop culture references spread like wildfire, making complex ideas accessible to the masses. But amidst the excitement, challenges loomed. Conservative religious groups decried the manipulation of God's design. Corporations scrambled to patent processes for activating dormant genes. And shadowy government agencies plotted to weaponize the newfound evolutionary potential. Elena and her allies knew that the path forward would be fraught with obstacles. But as they stood there, bathed in the glow of quantum possibility, they felt ready to face whatever came next. In the days that followed, the world transformed at a dizzying pace. Evo dating apps became the hottest trend, matching partners based on their evolutionary potential compatibility. Underground ascension raves sprang up, where people engaged in mass reproduction rituals hoping to trigger evolutionary leaps. Zarkonian human scientific collaborations led to breakthroughs in clean energy, space travel, and medicine. The first Quantum Fold Academy opened its doors, offering training in teleportation, energy manipulation, and other extraordinary abilities. As Elena worked tirelessly to navigate this new world, balancing scientific progress with ethical considerations, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. What had started as a simple study of human reproduction had blossomed into a cosmic renaissance. The story of humanity's evolutionary awakening spread across the galaxy, drawing more and more alien civilizations into Earth's orbit. The planet became a melting pot of species and ideas, a living laboratory of conscious evolution. And at the heart of it all was the simple, beautiful act of human love, now recognized as one of the most powerful forces in the universe. As Elena looked out at the transformed world, watching humans with glowing skin walk alongside reptilian alien scholars, seeing children born with abilities once thought impossible, she smiled. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and wonders beyond imagination. But one thing was clear: humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The universe watched with bated breath as the species that had once thought itself alone in the cosmos took its first steps into a larger, more wondrous reality. And it all started with a simple question: how do humans make babies? Little did anyone know that the answer would reshape the very fabric of existence itself.